Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about a recommendation from the Immoral Jeb, which is Immoral Guild, which is one that, honestly, in all honesty, should have been a patron exclusive. If you want to get more into the details and nitty-gritty about our pre-show conversation where we did talk a little bit about it, talked a little bit about how the show was received and about, generally there was a lot of discussion, pre-show discussion about it, the reception of it, and some other podcast plans. You want to catch a part of that wider conversation, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $8 a month will get you access to that bonus content. And also, just to help prevent other shows like this squeaking by, I will be previewing a lot of the shows beforehand to make sure they don't squeak by. That being said, before I dive into this week's choice, we want to talk about Tokyo Treat. Now, Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive Japanese snack box subscription service featuring exciting and unique flavors straight from Japan. And each box is filled with a variety of full-size Japanese snack items like limited edition Kit Kats, specially flavored Japanese chips, and occasionally Japanese sodas that are only available in Japan for a limited time. Now, every box comes with a cultural guide booklet. And this booklet contains Japanese culture and information and an explanation about each of the snacks and their flavor profiles, ingredients, and allergen information. Because honestly, when you're sitting there and you're trying to enjoy some nice, delicious treats, you want to make sure you're not going to be eating something you can't be eating or things that you particularly shouldn't be eating at the very least. And this booklet helps protect you in that way. So not only do you get to learn about the snacks you're eating, but you learn more about Japan and their culture themselves. Now, every month also has a theme, and that's one of my favorite things about this box. Every month has a different theme about what's going on, and it's usually centered around a season or a holiday that's going on in Japan, promoting certain Japanese cultural celebrations that are happening. Now, known for its vibrant streets and mouth-watering eats, Osaka is a true food lover's paradise. And this month's theme is the Osaka Snackathon. That's right, this month is packed full of an exciting lineup of savory and sweet snacks that capture the city's most iconic flavors. Come explore Osaka with us on this month's Snackathon and celebrate the diverse tastes and treats that this amazing city has to offer. Now, a couple of the treats that are in there that I personally found very good, aside from the obviously delicious Kit Kats, which are the Mont Blanc this month, but you have the Koikia wasabi seaweed chips, which were delicious. The white chocolate crunch, honestly, loved them. They were absolutely delicious. The ramen dorayaki, which was absolutely delicious. And then one of my other personal favorites, and now this may not be for everyone, but the squid and pickled ginger tempura chips were absolutely delicious. I could not get enough of those. I just munched on those like there were no tomorrow. But they have a variety of other chips and snacks and flavors and things like that in there, just like the Japanese plump soda, which was honestly really delicious to help wash that all down. Now, special for our listeners, if you use coupon code Featured Anime along with our affiliate link in the show notes, you get $5 off that very first box. And trust me, the treats are always oh so worth it. They're always delicious. I can never honestly get enough of them. And the only thing that saddens me is when I eat the whole box in the exact same day, because I have nothing to enjoy for the rest of the month. Now, again, special for our listeners, if you use our affiliate link in the show notes and then coupon code Featured Anime, you get $5 off that first box. And now on to the main show. Immoral Guild is 12 episodes long. It came out in October 2022 through December 2022. Producers for it are Square Enix, Lantis, ATX, Eggfirm, and Kadokawa, just to name a couple of them. Studio for it is TNK. Sources manga. Genres are comedies, fantasy, action, adventure, and ecchi, shonen. Definitely super mega heavy on the ecchi. And I will tell you this right now. If you watch the censored version, there is an uncensored version, but if you watch the censored version, I feel like your mind runs wild with the imagination. That being said, yes. Immoral Guild is about, despite having a great reputation, main character Kikoru is the ace of his area, which is not one of the more famous areas, not a bunch of super difficult monsters out there. And he actually wants to retire because he spent most of his life, all the way up until he's 20, basically protecting and saving the village from monsters. No. So, coincidentally, in order to help him find a successor so that way he could retire early and young, so that way he can go to college or do whatever else he wants to do, the guild provides him with several other candidates that would help him retire if he trains them and gets them to a point to where they could be guards, so to speak. And guards is individuals that go out into the forest and they hunt monsters and everything like that. So basically adventurers is what they are. Mm-hmm. This show, to put it lightly, is very, very heavy on the fan service, and it does not make light of that simply because, in fact, it generally will, at every point in time for the show, put Kikoru in a situation where he has to save his counterparts from very lewd and provocative situations that put him in a very uncomfortable point. The comedy in general for this anime is, to put it lightly, very, very, very adult.
Yes.
So, I mean, like in general, that's the basis of this anime, the basis of the story of this anime. Because his whole premise, his whole point is to try and train these girls so that way he can actually retire. So that way he can live his best life or live out his youth or whatever it is he wants to, whatever he wants to say. Now, again, I do want, and I talked about this in the pre-show. I want to reiterate it here, right? I want to remind everyone who decides to watch this. This is an actual ecchi. It is labeled as an ecchi. It is an ecchi. In fact, however, just to kind of like give you an idea, because I'll be putting out a separate show aside from this one, goes into details. This anime had mixed reviews. It's received appreciation for its humor and unique approach to the ecchi genre, which is true. I mean, like it is a little unique for when it came out in terms of anime. And fans of the series, which I want to point out, it received it has a 6.5 on Anime List. It received praise for its art style, its animation quality, action sequences, which stood out from a lot of the other ecchi comedies that were out there. But also at the exact same time, there were a lot of critics out there who were very, very concerned, with the, and I cannot stress this enough, extreme fan service, explicit humor, and it to where it borderlined so many times. So many times. It borderlined hentai, right? Now, again, the best, and children, you have to excuse us. This is why I said I will be previewing a lot of the shows from now on before we go into it. This is, and Rick and I talked about it, is, again, this is an ecchi. This is not a hentai. The best comparison I can give you to it is like, this is soft core corn, or this is soft core corn versus hardcore corn. All right. So just kind of keep that in mind, people. This is not a show where you're watching it and you're going to sit there and bust out some popcorn. And you're going to be like, oh, this is a great show. No, this is like kind of a show where you're like, you have to be a very particular audience. You have to be a very specific audience for this. And you have to be in a
secluded area.
Yes.
Not
for sure.
For public viewing. We've said this before. We mean it this time.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. This is soft core corn. All right.
Every episode.
As I kept fumbling my words because I was trying to like really kind of center myself a lot. Soft pour corn is better. I prefer that.
New one.
It's the new soft pour corn. That's what we're going with from now on, because that's honestly what this is. This is soft pour corn is what it is.
The people that said that they enjoyed the artwork and the humor in this anime are the same people that would say they purchased a penthouse for the articles.
No. The comedy I totally get. If you remove the ecchi portions of it, I can totally get. I can get the comedy portion of it. It's I watched this specifically for the art. Are the ones that are like, I buy those adult magazines specifically for the articles. It's like, no, you don't. You may glance through them while you're going to the bathroom, but you are most certainly not buying it specifically for that. And that's aching what it is, right? The art, bro, I love the animation quality. The art style is so beautiful. And don't get me wrong, the art was nice. The animation was there. Quality was there. I watched it uncensored. Rick didn't watch it uncensored. So I got to see the full art in all its beauty. I will tell you this right now. I would not watch it for the art quality if anything at all. That being said, pulling it out, right? This definitely does take a viewpoint, a stroll down, kind of like a RPG-esque game style feel for it.
100%. Yeah.
And if you pull away, you get rid of like the super ecchi, borderline, soft pour corn portions of it. Yeah. It is relatively a funny or entertaining show, right?
Super lighthearted, yeah.
It is 100% lighthearted.
If you took the ecchi out, I would say it's on par with I don't want to get hurt, so I put all my points in defense.
Yeah. And so a lot of people have akin this to like Konosuba a little bit. Now, I can kind of see where they're going with it. Konosuba does definitely tote that line sometimes, but they are nowhere near as bad as this. Like this 100%, it's like you're looking at this and you're going Ishizoku review viewers, you're looking at Redo a Healer, you're looking at To Love Ru, you're looking at High School DxD, all those shows which are very, very, very heavy on the fan service, ecchi, like borderline soft pour corn style stuff.
This I think goes further because like with High School DxD, or that's that one happens to have nudity in it. It's not a focal point here.
Oh no, it is totally a focal point in it. It is totally a focal point.
No, but it goes with the gore. There's a reason. It makes sense here.
No, it doesn't, because half the time they're trying. It really does it. They're. I mean,
don't get me wrong. The jiggle physics in DxD is nuts. Like the Matrix style dodging of bullets in that one.
No. That is High School of the Dead.
I was close.
No, you weren't.
High school stuff.
High School DxD is the dude that dies and his power is Busto.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay, I retract. I
That
I need a DeLorean to back up so fast because that's pitiful. Oh
yes.
no.
High School DxD.
Oh
That is why I
no.
specifically said High School DxD.
Okay,
Do a
I
healer.
agree.
Okay.
I agree with you.
To
I agree
Love
with you
Ru,
now.
like you can like
Not
High
to
School
love Rue.
of the Dead. High School of the Dead is a fan service heavy show for sure. However, they don't really this like this ain't. It's like again, it's like comparing High School of the Dead to Redo a Healer. Hey, apples to apples. I'll tell you that right now. They both have fan service, but one's way different than the other one.
Yeah,
Right?
one's a little more graphic, let's call it.
Exactly. Okay, so this is very much that, right? And again, soft poor corn, all right, is what this is because one, they don't exactly cross that line. They don't exactly cross
you're
the
right.
line.
They don't. You don't see them do. That's correct. It's from the waist up that gets violated, not the waist down. Thankfully, but there's a lot. There's a lot.
Okay, look. First of all, there is. Let me clarify this. There is no penetration in this.
Okay.
There is, and I don't know if you caught what I had said. All right. There is no penetration in this, right? And there is
correct.
For the girls, they are always covered down there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I need you to really kind of hone that in because they really definitely point out one of the characters where you're like, no, he's totally just pretending to be a girl. He's not. They point out he loses his bottoms and he does get violated. Nothing inserts. Nothing inserts in him. Let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it properly. Nothing inserts him in him.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing inserts in him. All right. And they don't show anything. They just
imply it heavily.
Yeah, like they have his leg covering it. They have the girls looking at him. They comment on the size. Yeah. It's like there's like a wide variety of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that they tote on, they tackle, they do all kinds of stuff on. Like this show is
the only thing they didn't do is George Takei's "Oh my."
Yeah, which honestly would have been best.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know we don't normally comment on the comments as we do this, but Goose just threw a perfect one in there. He says, "Rick's inserting his imagination." Winky face.
Yeah,
that's comedic gold. I love it.
Right? The show is if you pull out a lot of the ecchi fan service, unneeded stuff in there, there is comedy in it. It's fun, it's lighthearted, it's everything like that. Again, try to get back on track a little bit away from the ecchi portion of it, which this is like the I will agree portion of it.
If you reduced it from an R to, let's say, PG-13.
Oh God. Okay. No. If you remove the ecchi, if you were to reduce it, yeah.
Yeah, if you were to reduce it from that to a PG-13,
yeah,
it's got a really nuanced plot, and it's got a decent story. It's got really good progression. It's got everything you want in an anime. They just turned hard left and went down this isn't going to be a public viewing anime. But that being said, the story itself is comprehensive. You understand from episode 1 what you want, but this turned into a over the top harem type situation, a harem that he didn't want to begin with.
To be fair, yeah. Like that is pointed out, like that whole premise, that harem portion of it. And if that's not really what he wants, but he got it, you get that within the first 30 seconds of the anime.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you are immediately led with what it's going to be. There is,
you know what's funny?
No question.
So there's a saying that I've heard many, many, many times before, and this anime personifies that, and it is, no matter how hot a girl is that you look at, there's somebody who's tired of her crap, and he is so done in the first episode with everyone's antics that in the middle of a battle, he just looks up and starts daydreaming of like, is this really my life? Did I choose this? Do I really have to be here? Like, he still saves the day. Don't get me wrong. He's legitimately,
to help clarify, right? First of all, like, because anyone can be that can be literally applied to anyone, not just women. It can be applied to anyone.
Oh no.
He has that exact same reaction to like guys he's finding out that are retiring before him. And everyone thinks, he's just sad they're leaving because he really, I mean, like, to be fair, 100%, he is sad, but not for the reasons everyone's thinking. He's sad they're leaving because he goes, and this just makes it harder for me to leave. Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, you were going to pick up my slack, but you're gone. Dang it. I'm the last reliable, credible person in this guild now. Seriously. And then he feels a faux sense of responsibility that if he ends up leaving and it deteriorates, it's because of him.
Yeah. And then at the
reinforced.
It is. But also at the exact same time, they point out, and he even thinks about it. He's like, will it be really that bad off if I leave?
Yeah.
Simply,
every other episode, he gets an existential crisis of.
Well, no, that's not even what I'm like. That's not even what I'm talking about, right? Because in one of the episodes, what happens is he comes across the people for Hitamu, right? The girl, the beast girl with the 100% absorption rate, with the mana that's as sweet as honey that drives animals wild and everything like that. When he's going through it and he's going through town with her, it's like straight up, there are guys in there that are one, very perverted, 100%. And then when they see her with Kikaru, are 100% ready to murder the guy. They're like, who are you? What are you doing? And so if you think for a second, a lot of the people that use and take advantage of her in any fashion are going to just let monsters do whatever. You got another thing coming. Like, they straight up will go on the war path for these girls. But again,
I mean, we really don't see that, but
we don't see that.
Yeah,
well, that's where his mind went. And that's why he goes, and that's why he thought about it, because he remembered them. He's like, well, am I really needed to save them? Like, is this really needed? And again, right. If you take the comedic portions of this, it is funny. There are certain points where I did laugh out loud. Take, for instance, in one of the later episodes, one of the last episodes, they have he's asked a question. It's like, oh, and you hate soft things. And there's this pause, and they reiterate the question, and Ome reiterates the question. It's like, right? You hate soft things, and sarcastic, heavy, with such heavy sarcasm, goes, yes, I totally hate soft things.
Oh, yeah.
But at the exact same time, there's everything there that happened. And this is one of the things that I'm actually glad this anime did, and they did very well, is they explained everything, right? For what was happening, why it was happening, why certain things are the way they are, why this is the way it is. They actually, for a change, provided you with those details. Now, granted, all of it wasn't like super deep lore. It wasn't super deep lore. It wasn't like super ambiguous where you had to sit there and you just like were like were blown out of your mind, going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, there were no twists.
Right, but they told you, they showed you, and explained it to you in some of the most simplistic and easily digestible manners, which was refreshing and great, because now you're given the answers that you had been wanting for why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this happening? And you're finally told, oh, this totally makes sense now.
No, you have a point. I didn't really get that. I should rephrase. I did get it. I just didn't notice it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you until you mentioned it, you're right. I didn't have any outstanding questions at the end of the show. But at the same time, I didn't notice that they answered it all to my satisfaction.
Yeah.
That was really well. You've raised the number I was going to give it.
Yeah,
it's still not going to be anywhere close to a 10, but it's,
oh God, no, not even.
Giving me a new appreciation.
Right. And again, so right, I went into this no expectations. And if I go into it with no expectations, I'm able to pull certain things out and go, okay, let's separate this out here. Let's pull this out. Let's ignore this. Let's focus on this over here, versus someone spending years literally telling me something is great. I watch it and it is not as great. It's hard for me to separate those out. Right. Cause at a certain point when someone's telling you something, it's great. You watch it. It's like, bro, this was not great. Like, what are you telling me is great about it? You're expecting some mind-blowing thing. This, no expectations. This is going to be other than the name, where it's like, this might be a little ecchi, and turns out this is really, really ecchi. This is soft, poor corn. It's definitely, it allows me to easily just kind of go, okay, let's take that junk, throw it away, and focus on this. And here's what I was able to get out of it, right? This is the information that it was able to easily present to me in an easily digestible manner. And another one of the things is I thought was really funny personally, and then they even leaned into that later on in the series, was I can only use copyright free magic. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I thought was amazing. It's like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? And then when you hear one of the copyright free things, it's like, that's a little wonky, but I see why. Okay. They're just leaning into it harder. Like, I get it. It's okay. So it just, but again,
yeah.
For the comedy,
you're not wrong, and it was awesome.
Yeah, for the comedy, it was there. It had a very easy to follow story, as well. The character development, in all honesty, was really kind of minimal at best. And that's putting it at absolute best for the character development. For it, largely because this was kind of a story that was there, right? They had the goal, what he was striving for. However, the character development really kind of halted that, where this, in my opinion, kind of was a fantasy that was being played out in a fashion, so to speak, which is
okay.
Like, surrounded by beautiful women, all of them waiting on you, all of them wanting to be around you, all of them in love with you, wanting to be around you, everything like that. This plays to the harem fantasy like it normally is, which is one of the things that I really, really loved about Trapped in a Dating Sim, where the main character goes, is this what women feel like when they watch harem shows or see harem in games and anime? This is disgusting.
Self-reflection, yeah.
Yeah, the self-reflection. But another thing about this show that I feel like it did kind of well were those comedic lines, the comedic flow, where it easily kind of inserted in there or weaved it in there, so it didn't just shoehorn it in to the end, into the show. It flowed in there seamlessly. Yes,
I agree. I enjoyed it, not as much as I would have without all of the ecchi, but It was very refreshing. I'm going to call it honesty, because they don't really deceive too much. Every episode, there was no cliffhangers. There were no real, I gotta watch the next one. There were no next week on, stuff like that. And granted, we binged it, so it was all available to us immediately. But it was rather lighthearted, and it's going to sound kind of odd, a palate cleanser of sorts. Again, I couldn't watch it in public, and I couldn't really crowd my phone and watch it at my in-laws' house. But it was bright, it was colorful, it had a decent story. If I'm being honest, other than the ecchi, it was rather bland.
Yeah, it was, again, the character development was very minimal. It had jokes. It was comedic. It was funny where it needed to be funny. It, again, for the story, it was easy to follow. It wasn't deep, but it didn't leave you with any questions. It explained everything for you. So it was a very encompassing anime, 100%. The only thing that I'll say after this, and then after this, I have nothing else. I'd be fine with us going into a rating if you have nothing else to say after this, is the one thing that they did differently than a lot of the other shows that are out there that I've seen, is you have the one main character. You have Hitamu who's a great housekeeper. She's a great cook, makes things really, really well. Then you have the other three, Toxico, Maidana, and then you have Hanabata, who are all horrible at cooking. And I love that one, they played up how horrible they were at cooking, and then they were able to easily get them to try their own food at the exact same time, and played on, in my mind, a little bit of the Food Wars vibe in terms of food, except it's so bad it literally blows your clothes off. So instead of the protagonist, which in almost all other animes that are out there and every other show that's out there, the protagonist always has to eat or find a way to not eat the food by forcing it on someone else or whatever else, instead of the person actually eating it and then seeing the results of their own cooking. They were forced to eat it as a result of their own cooking. It's like, hey, if you cooked it, you need to taste it to make sure that it tastes actually good before you serve it to other people. And they immediately
rejected the idea. Well, they didn't. They understood the limitations. Let's say that.
Yes, they immediately go, oh, this is just horrible. It's like, yeah, well, no, I'm not going to eat it.
If you survive, I'll give it a taste test, that kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. If you say it's good, I'll try it. Needless to say, they did not say it's good.
They did not.
So, that being said, I got nothing else to talk about, sir. I have nothing else going on.
Okay. I agree with you. I think it's ready for a rating.
All right. So, on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
Not well. It's below 5 for me. How far below? I don't know. It's definitely not a 2. It's got some redeeming qualities. If you were to take the ecchi out, and I watched the censored version, and the censors they put on there were so obnoxious. They were so far out of what you would expect, and it obscured everything, and it made things seem way worse, I assume, than they were. And they were just more of a distraction than anything else, because they made it wasn't like a bright white light that blocked your view. No, they basically have pasties on everywhere. And I was watching it and I was like, this isn't great. And then you added the information that obviously surprised me, where they answered everything in a satisfactory manner, which raises it from a 3 to a 4. And if you were to take the ecchi out, it'd probably be like around a 6 or a 7, because I'd recommend it. It's hilarious. It's got feel good stuff in it. The comedic timing is definitely there, but then all of the censorship and all the ecchi. So you raised it from a 3, but I can't go past a 4. So
Okay.
for me, it's a 4. I did enjoy it. I would not recommend. I would not feel comfortable recommending this to anybody, just because this takes a very special type of person to be recommended it and then not look at you funny. You know what I mean? Like I can't.
Not really. I know a few people that will recommend it just for the meme. Just for the
meme, but like, well, my coworkers, if I'm like, hey, Tim Bob, you should watch this, they'll come back to work the next day after the 30-second intro and be like, dude, yeah, we're not that close.
I can think of a lot of people that I would recommend it to, just for like shock value. But then again, I have a different mentality, right? I have a different viewpoint on it, where I'm just it's whatever. It's for me, it's whatever. It's like, just so you know, hey, you want to see something that's like a little bit soft corn, whatever, or that's comedic or whatever, that's funny, watch it. Just know you're gonna watch this by yourself. Don't watch this around the family. Just know this.
That's a recommendation with a disclaimer. I was just referring to, hey, you should totally check this out. It's hilarious. Yeah, I don't have that kind of relationship. I give
recommendations with disclaimers all the time. If that's what you say is a disclaimer, because I mean, like when I recommend someone anything, I usually will give a context of it, because I work with a lot of families, or I work around people who have families and things like that. And so when we're talking, it's Goblin Slayer. I would totally recommend that to a lot of people, but hey, this is not something that you want to watch with your daughters. Like, this is not something that's safe for your daughters to watch at all. Or, High School of the Dead. It's Jiggle Figures. But again, it's like, this is not one you want to watch with your kids around. Like, so I by default have to give out quote unquote disclaimers all the time, simply because there's a lot of people think for a minute, a lot of people think that anime is for kids, and it's really not, especially if there's someone that's new to the genre or anything like that. It's like, hey, this is definitely not kid friendly, but it is a great show, so you should check it out. I
guess I can see that. Because it borders.
You work in a very different environment where.
Yeah.
I work with a bunch of family and with a bunch of people who have families, and a lot of them are anime fans too. So.
Oh yeah, no, I work with
different environment. I would not recommend this to people that easily would be offended.
Would misconstrue it. Yes.
Who would be easily misunderstand this. Yes. 100%. Yes. Totally. Yes. I agree with you. I would not recommend this to people that I would totally misunderstand what was happening here. Like, if they had never seen anime, if they had no point in the anime or anything like that, or never watched it. Yes. This is not one where you go up and be like, hey, Joe Bob, I know you're a family guy, super religious and everything like that. You should totally watch this. That's a hell no. However, if it was like, I know the guy, I know he doesn't easily get offended. He watches the genre as it is, or watches anything remotely close or whatever, or you joke around with the guy or whatever it is. Yes. However, don't, like, if you have a guy that's like, hey, I easily get offended by everything simply because I just don't understand or I don't know. Yes, no, totally don't recommend it to them, because that's again, that's just you trying to insult them. That's you trying to pick a fight. That's you trying to be mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
That's what you're trying to say. Okay, gotcha. Understand. On board. 100%. You're a 4. Enough. I'm a 6. I thought it was funny. It was a fun watch. I definitely wouldn't go higher than a 6. That is for sure. Super heavy on the ecchi. Would not recommend this to everyone, but I do know a lot of people that I would recommend it to just for the kicks and giggles in and of itself. And yeah, that's it for this week. Next week's choice.
Gojira.
That is actually 100% right. Godzilla. If I can actually pull it up again, I will be set. It is Godzilla, Planet of Monsters. It is a movie. If you feel like we did too much justice, not enough justice, got everything right, everything wrong, or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to us. All our information and everything like that's in the show notes, as well as on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
And I'm Rick. And we'll see you next time.